Today we're going to talk about how after a relationship, your whole reality is warped and you think, no, this was the one, this was my soulmate, this was my twin flame, this was the most important person and I cannot lose them. It's because your whole reality has been warped, which means you spend so much time on ideas, memories, thoughts about that person that it all comes together and the brain is constantly attacking you with those memories, with those thoughts, with those belief systems. No, they were the only one. They had the same astrology sign. I could only have met them in this place. They have the most amazing character ever. They have the most charisma, etc. But what you don't understand is that it's like an emotional addiction. It is actually emotional addiction where the pull of the emotions is actually creating the story. So it's a confirmation bias and you keep spending time on all the guilty thoughts, on all the fixing thoughts, on all the thoughts about that they are the only one, and that's why the brain is going to give you more. So today I'm going to teach you how to break that cycle, but first thing, there's so many people out there who've been in many relationships, and if you are a person who has been in many relationships, you can see this pattern. You've been in love with someone, you think they're the only one, the world is going down because you're breaking up. A year goes by, you get into a new relationship, you forget about that person, you're in a new relationship, you fall in love here, you break up with them, and now this person is the only person, and now you're telling the story that the last person from before is you never were in love, you were just confused, you were just hypnotized, and you're just hypnotized basically right here, right now in that relationship. And if a year goes by, you will meet another person that you get emotionally addicted to. But the problem is not that these people are actually the one. There is no such thing as the one. The problem is that each time you get emotionally addicted and lose yourself in the relationship. But the person where you're like, oh no, I didn't know my first relationship, I was never in love, even though here you were like crazy hurt and this was the only one, your first love that you met around the corner of your block or something. Or it doesn't matter where you met them. You are now here on your second love and say your first love, you didn't know, you were not really in love, you were just confused. In reality, your brain just changed because of all the patterns, all the emotional addiction that you created with this person. So that person doesn't matter anymore because over time you showed the brain with your behavior that you don't care about that person anymore. And if you do the same with that person, show your brain with your behavior that you don't care about that person anymore, you will also not be attached to that person anymore. And then it goes on and on and on and on and on until you realize, okay, maybe there's not such a thing as soulmate, twin flame, and maybe I'm just getting attached every time and I create these stories in my head. So even if you're right now watching this and you're like, no, this is the only person, you don't understand. You don't understand that you're hypnotized. You literally, and sometimes it doesn't even matter what I'm saying in this video, you will still be like, no, they're this person, because you don't understand that you feeding the patterns. You're talking back, you're ruminating, you're spending time in your head, you're checking Instagram to see what they're doing, you're checking WhatsApp status if they're online, etc. So you are hypnotizing yourself by spending time in your head on these patterns. So maybe I can convince you right now, maybe not, but eventually you will see, like many other people who are probably saying this in the comments, yeah, I thought I was in love with them and I thought this is the only person, but then I met someone else and now I think this is the only person, and then I break up with them, and then it moves on and on and on and on and on and on. The important part here is you can say, oh, my life is over, everything's fucked up, or you can, because I'm not with that person anymore, or you can just move on. And really important here is that you probably keep losing yourself in those relationships and you're chasing happiness in another person. And everything doesn't matter anymore, your job, your family, your friends, because you lose yourself in another person. And that's not only also not being a good person, because you are forgetting about everything else, your loved ones, just because of one person. you can see it's an emotional addiction. You're losing yourself and you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Like you're leaving all your value garden, all the garden of relationship, family and friends relationships, your business, your physical fitness. You are not watering those parts of the garden because of that person. So you want to show yourself that you trust yourself, and you want to show yourself that you trust yourself and build self-worth by doing things for yourself even if you don't feel like it. And your problem is that you do things that you just feel like and you want to get relief, which keeps you in the suck of the patterns. It keeps you sucked into the patterns because the patterns are luring you in with chasing relief. The patterns are saying, oh no, here's this uncomfortable emotion of missing them. You need to do something to fix it. And if you do things to try to fix it, or you distract yourself for something, you are feeding the pattern. You're showing the brain that this must still be important because you're acting on it. You're reacting to it. The brain's like, this must be important because you keep being reactive. So what you want to do is be like, okay, fuck my feelings. Fuck the feelings. The feelings are allowed to be there. And some people say, oh, this is suppressing. It's not suppressing, okay? It's accepting. You allow the feelings to be there, but for them to allow to be there, you don't have to focus on them. That's like saying, oh, I can only allow the trees around me to be there if I constantly focus on them. No, I allow them to be there. I accept that they're there. I actually love them. But even if it's like, would be like some annoying, whatever, rats running around or people barking or whatever, you can accept them, but you don't need to focus on them. So the whole thing about emotions, oh, but isn't it suppressing? No, that's just the people who don't have they don't want to put effort in and moving on. They don't want to put effort in. They want to keep in the cycle of, oh, I feel so bad, victim mindset, and trying to make the feelings feel better. So fuck that. If you really want to move on, you just want to move forward doing the things that you value that support your life. That's why the value garden exercise is so important. The value garden exercise was created by Mark Freeman. I put a spin on it by putting like 7 areas into it to better focus on what you want to grow and to have a better idea what actions you want to use. But you want to basically wake up in the morning, stop ruminating, stop spending time inside of your head, and go out there and do the valued actions. You want to do physical fitness, you want to go to the gym with any wrong feelings, and you want to do it mindfully. You want to use your focus to not, because your reality will be more warped the more you keep your focus on it. The more you keep your focus on those thoughts and those stories, the more your reality will be warped. So we need to take our attention off those stories. And you can only do that with your focus. So you want to take it off by putting it on the valued action. It's a moment to moment, taking more airtime, taking more percentage of your day to do those and to show your brain that you don't care about the warped reality anymore. The warped reality will break and you will see, oh, why did I ever want to be with that person? It's the same thing over and over again. And you will move on. Maybe it would be like, oh yeah, it was a nice experience. I love that person. But I see I need to take care of myself. I'm good now. Because you're shifting your focus. And it takes time. For anybody who's like, oh, give me this trick. This is exactly the same thing. There's people out there, hopefully not watching this video, who are like, oh, just give me this trick to get this relief right now, quickly. You know? This never ever works because you need to practice. And you need to practice skills. You need to practice the foundation of self-love, of caring for yourself. And you can only do that by doing valued actions because you show your brain with your behavior that you value yourself. And if you avoid doing the things that you value, you are showing your brain that you value something else, like chasing validation from another person, losing yourself in the relationship. And then the brain wants to support you, of course. And the brain's like, yeah, let me give you more of those urges, feelings of insecurity to chase more of that person. Let me give you more of those urges to go on Instagram, WhatsApp, to chase them, to stalk them, whatever. And then you just go crazy. That's why you need to stop. You need to cut it off. No brain, we're walking right now. No brain, you need to do this all day. No brain, we're walking right now. No brain, we're doing, and not to get rid of the thoughts. I say this all the time. Don't do this to get rid of the thoughts. Because if you're trying to get rid of the thoughts, you're still on the engine, thought engine, emotion engine. You do this to shift your focus. No brain, we're walking right now. Focus shifted. The thoughts are still allowed to be there. They're probably still attacking you all day. Totally fine. That's totally fine. That's to be expected. It's to be expected that those thoughts are chasing you all day. Whatever the fuck. it's to be expected that your thoughts are chasing you all day, okay? That's allowed, but you keep shifting your focus over weeks, months. You do it, you'll be over it. Someone who isn't over their ex in a year shows me that they're just spending time. I don't tell you like around the time, but it can be anywhere. Yeah, it needs some time, right, to be fully, but it should be at least anywhere from like 3 months to like, if you go slow, like 6 to 7 to 8, but not longer than that. Right? It should be, if you do it right, it should be around 3 months. And it might be more, it might be less, dependent. It can be like, some people might be 2 weeks, some people be like a month, but it should not be longer than 8 months. And 8 months only if you fuck around a lot, all right? So you want to shift your focus all day from the beginning of the day. And you want to set things proactively. Because when you do things reactively, squall, no. So really you want to start shifting your focus to the valued actions from the beginning of the day and go as far as you can. And don't do the compulsions, which means don't do the checking of the phone or the apps. And an easy way to do that, to cut that old reality, is to block the apps and make sure you don't like see them for a while, right? Months. I mean, you shouldn't see them, but yeah. Don't see them, block their number, block everything around them. So, and yeah, if you parenting together, then make it just about professional, don't get sucked into emotional conversation, anything. And the most important thing is don't spend time in your head having conversations with that person in your head or having certain memories that react to, etc. So you want to keep your focus on the present moment, on the valued actions, go do activities, and especially if you don't feel like it. Because the not feeling like it will turn to depression, anxiety, if you stay isolated, if you keep not supporting your value garden. It's important to support your value garden, okay? You support your value garden with the actions, and you schedule the actions in your week proactively. Ask yourself, what actions have the most impact on my life? What do I want to grow in business, relaxation, physical fitness, creative expression, family, friends, relationships, and etc. Okay? You want to do those actions and you want to do them mindfully, which means not spending time inside of your head. So continue doing those actions, and the measure of success is doing those actions. Again, another pro tip. It's so important that you're doing that because it's not going to work if you don't. Don't make the measure of success how you feel. The paradox is, if you don't make the measures of success how you feel, over time, you will feel better, so to say. You will be happier. But I don't want you to even chase that. Because if you're like, okay, I'm doing these tools because then over time I will feel better, you want to make the measure of success just the valued actions, and you want to start celebrating yourself for doing those valued actions. Every time you've done a valued action, and at the end of the day, you can even write down the valued actions and like check them off and be proud of yourself and celebrate yourself for them. Mark Freeman always says, keep success close. So make the measure of success like close, like easy to be successful. For example, today my measure of success is I meditate, I make a video, and I, for example, go to the gym. I don't know if I go to the gym today, but that's just an example. By the way, I go to the gym. I hate saying this, but maybe my measure of success today is doing a meditation. Maybe your measure of success today is doing a meditation, making yourself healthy food, and going to the gym. After that, you are successful. You want to keep success close, okay? And then you celebrate that, but you do the valued actions. You want to set those things proactively. Because if you're constantly reactive, if you keep being reactive to emotions and thoughts, you are getting pulled into the old reality again. So the way to get pulled in the old reality is to keep spending time inside of your head, keep spending time talking back to the conversations. So cut it off and have the awareness in the week when you're doing it. And use cognitive diffusion, which means the differentiation between you and your brain. The brain says, I'm supposed to talk back now. No, brain, I'm doing this. The thoughts say, I'm supposed to text her. No, brain, I go to the gym now. But I have an uncomfortable feeling, I want to get relief and text her. I can have this uncomfortable feeling and I go to the gym. Stop spending time on the thoughts, stop being reactive to the brain, stop being a slave to the brain. okay? That's why you want to set the valued actions proactively and be patient. You want to give yourself some time. But keep spending time in your head. That's going to elongate the pain until, like, some people don't get over their partner for 2 years, and that's literally them just spending time inside of your head all the time. All right? So you want to come back to the valued actions, and if the thoughts are like, oh, but what if they weren't so weird? What? No, that doesn't exist. There's millions of people you can fall in love with. Literally millions of people you can fall in love with and be in love with. There's not such a thing. That's what the brain likes to pull you in. That's like stories like to put it in. It's a romantic Disney story and all that stuff. But you got to be your own best friend. You got to be your soulmate. You got to be taking care of yourself. You're the adult now. Take care of yourself by doing the valued actions and make the measure of success the valued actions. Don't make it feeling better and chasing feelings. Because then you will always trying to get relief, and you do the compulsions and you show the brain that this person is still important. All right? Do I want to say something else?